In this unit, we're going to be studying number sense. In this video, we'll be looking at the order of operations.
Okay, so here we're going to take a look at the order of operations. So this becomes an issue in all sorts of different areas in mathematics. It's once you get really used to it, no, it's just kind of something that you'll do automatically. Okay, but it impacts everything that we do here. So we a long time ago we decided that there was going to be this definite order to the way that we're going to approach problems here, and actually the order makes sense, a lot of sense here. Now, first of all, the shorthand that we use for this is BEDMAS. And for us, BEDMAS stands for brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. That's the order that it's got to go in. Now, brackets comes first. So what the brackets are, what the parentheses are here is we're basically like putting our little hands around something and saying, okay, hey, whatever's inside here, that takes precedence. I want you to do that first. Okay, so that's what's going on here. This, whatever goes inside there is going to happen first. Now, outside of that, the order of operations actually makes a fair bit of sense as to how it goes here. We're going to do exponents first. Now, you have to watch out for the signs. So bear in mind whether or not like your negative is with inside the power or whether it's multiplied in front of the power. You got to watch out for that. But exponents or exponentiation is repeated multiplication. It's a shortcut form for doing multiplication over and over and over again. We want to do the shortcuts first because it simplifies expressions quicker. Okay, and that's our goal, to simplify things, to reduce it down as quickly as we can here. So we're going to do our shortcuts first. So exponents, shortcut form of multiplication. So once we've done the shortcuts or the repeated multiplication, then we're going to look at multiplication and division. Now these are basically two sides of the same coin. Okay, multiplication is repeated addition. Division is repeated subtraction, so it's basically the same thing. So these are kind of interchangeable. Typically, if you've got a list of them in order, like from left to right here, we're going to work from left to right. So we start with the first multiplication, the first division, and then we move to the next one, the next one, next one. We go on left to right here. Don't go backwards. Don't go right to left. Go left to right. Okay? Now then we get to addition and subtraction. These are kind of our more basic operations. Okay, so once we've taken advantage of the shortcut methods of adding and subtracting, the repeated addition and repeated subtraction, then we're going to look at just addition and subtraction that's left over. And again, these are interchangeable because subtraction is like adding negatives. And again, we're going to work from left to right. So brackets, we look at the things that we are very specifically in an expression grouping together with our like a little hands like this. We're cupping them together. Do these first. Then we do the repeated multiplication first because that's a quick simplification. We do repeated addition and subtraction because that's a trick. That's a little shortcut for getting through that. And then we go back to just basic addition and subtraction. Anyway, let's take a look through some examples and see if we can make sense of it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to evaluate. So first of all, we're going to focus our attention on what's inside the brackets here, the parentheses. So 7 minus 4. Now, even though subtraction doesn't come kind of before multiplication typically, the parentheses do here. So 7 minus 4 is going to be 3. So this becomes 2 multiplied by, that's what that, when they're right next to each other, that means multiplication. 2 multiplied by 3 plus 6. Then I'm going to do this multiplication first because multiplication takes precedence over addition, and that's 6. And then I add those together, 6 plus 6 to get 12. Okay. For number 2, there's no parentheses, there's no brackets here. So what's next in line? Well, exponents. Okay, well, right here. Okay, 4 to the power of 2. So basically what this is, everybody, this is 2 times 4 times 4. That's what this is here. But the 4 squared, that's a little shortcut that I can take here because I know how to do that. I know that 4 squared is going to be 16. So let's do that first. So this becomes 2 times 16, and then we got this minus 7. Okay. Now that I've done I've taken advantage of what I understand of multiplication, that repeated multiplication. Now I'm going to do the different bit here. So 2 times 16 is going to be 32. Now I'm going to do the addition subtraction left to right here. So 3 plus 32 is going to be 35 minus 7. And then 35 minus 7 will be 28. So the answer there is 28. Over here, I have got, now again, in order here, what I'm going to focus on here is I've got this addition within the parentheses here. So this is going to be 3 squared divided by 3 multiplied by, here we go, 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. Okay? And now, now that the brackets are done, I'm going to deal with the exponents. So 3 squared, this is repeated multiplication. So 3 squared is going to be 9, I know that. And now I've got, in order left to right, I've got division and multiplication. So the first thing I'm going to do here is the division. So 9 divided by 3 is going to be equal to 3. I've still got this multiplication by 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. Now, I tell you what, let's just double check that we are doing this all correctly here. So let's go to my calculator here. Nice pink calculator. This will be 3 squared divided by 3 multiplied by 2 plus 1. Do I get 9? I do get 9. Okay, so the calculator is giving me that same understanding of the order of operations that we're doing right here. Just to check. Okay, here I have got parentheses, or brackets here, and I've got squares outside those parentheses. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is what's inside. So 5 minus 2 will be 3. 2 plus 7 is going to be 9. Okay, so 3 squared. Now that I've done the parentheses, the brackets there, now I'm going to do the exponentiation there, the exponents. 3 squared is 9. 9 squared, okay, is going to be 81. Okay, and then we're going to do the subtraction here. So 9 minus 81 is going to be, negative 72. Okay? I hope that makes sense there. 9 minus 81 is going to be negative 72. Notice that we're taking the larger number away from the smaller number, so I am expecting a negative answer. I'm expecting my answer here to be on the left side of the 0 on the number line. Okay, now we're going to take a look at a couple of questions here. We didn't specifically address this before, so now I'm going to go back up. With brackets, it's not always obvious, okay, where the brackets are. Sometimes when we're dealing with a complex fraction, which is like fractions within fractions, okay, but it doesn't even have to be like that. Anytime you're dealing with your division written like this, where it's written as this fraction here, numerator over denominator, the bar there implies a set of parentheses that it doesn't show. Okay? Implies a set of parentheses that it doesn't show. We do this a lot in mathematics, where if there's a symbol that shows up a lot, okay, frequently, we kind of will then simplify our notation by just assuming that it's there. You'll see this when we do like roots, square roots. With square roots, we're not going to write the little 2 to tell us it's a square root. We'll know that it's there. We'll assume that it's there. If you get to a point where you're looking at logarithms, you're going to see that logarithms are very similar to our exponents here. There's a nice relationship. But if the base is 10, we don't bother writing the 10. Okay? There are things that we do like this, and this is a similar sort of a case here. We don't put the parentheses there. When we're writing the division out this way, we understand that it implies that those brackets there. So in the numerator, I'm going to look first. Okay, it doesn't really matter. But inside that, now all of a sudden, inside here, I've got a whole other set of operations that I got to deal with. I've got addition and exponentiation. Okay, the power there. I got to deal with that first, the 3 squared, before I can deal with the addition. So 3 squared is going to be 9. Down here in the denominator, I have got multiplication, and then I'm adding a negative. Okay, well, I have to do what's inside the parentheses early. It's got to be one of my first things. But even when I look inside there, I got to do the multiplication first. So 3 times 5 is 15, and then plus negative 2. So now, to finish off the numerator, 4 plus 9 will be 13. To finish off the denominator, 15 plus negative 2 is going to be 13. Now I can do the division. Okay, I've dealt with everything in the numerator, I've dealt with everything in the denominator. Now I can deal with that division, and 13 divided by 13 is 1. I do a similar sort of a thing here. I look in my numerator because there's parentheses around it, and my first order of business is to deal with in this case, I've got multiplication, addition to addition, so I'm going to deal with the multiplication first. 4 times 0 is just going to be 0, plus 7 plus 2. And actually down here, when I look inside the denominator, all it is this division. Okay, well, I'll just do that then. 15 divided by 5 is just going to be 3. Now, in the numerator, remember, we've still got parentheses here, although in the denominator, I don't need to write it anymore because I'm done. But 0 plus 7 plus 2 is going to be 9 divided by 3. I've dealt with everything inside the parentheses. Now I can deal with the operation between the numerator and denominator. 9 divided by 3 will be 3. Okay, now here. I've got a lot more going on. First things first, though, I'm going to focus on my parentheses there, my brackets. So I've got 4 plus 2. I'm going to deal with that first. So this is 18 divided by 3. And I know there's going to be some of you who are going to look at this and say, well, wait a minute. Can't I do certain things a little bit earlier because they don't affect each other? And the answer to that is, yeah, you can. But I'm going to just keep these things separate here. And I'm going to do kind of operations in groups as I go here. So I dealt with the parentheses. 4 plus 2 is 6. Now I'm going to deal with the exponent here. 6 squared. So this becomes 18 divided by 3 plus 72 divided by 12 plus 6 squared is 36. Now that I've dealt with the parentheses or the brackets and the exponents, now I'm going to deal with the multiplication and division. And in this case, it's just division. But I'm going to do it all left to right here. So 18 divided by 3 is going to be 6. Plus 72 divided by 12 is going to be 6. Plus 36. And now I'm going to do the addition, okay, across here. And I'm going to do it in order. So I'll do that first bit of addition first. So 6 plus 6 is going to be 12. And then 12 plus 36 will be 48. So my final answer there is 48. And for this last one that we're going to look at, I've got that set of brackets here, so I'm going to look inside there first. Once I do, I see addition and some powers here. So I'm going to deal with the exponents, the powers there first. So inside the parentheses, 3 squared is 9. 6 to the 0. And if you think back to an earlier lesson, we did that. Okay, we looked at what happens when you put 0 in the exponent. 6 to the 0 is going to be 1. Okay, and this is still divided by 5 to the 1. Now that I've done the exponents there, now I'm going to deal with the addition inside the brackets. 9 plus 1 is 10, divided by 5 to the 1. Now I'm done with this. Now I'm going to deal with the exponents, and the 5 to the 1 is just 5. And now I can deal with the division. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay, so I hope those examples give you a little bit of a sense of the flow for these problems and gives you some confidence moving forward.